Excelsior and greetings. I'm Jay Winter Nightwolf, and this is the Indigenous Peoples Reality Media. I'm so happy to be with you tonight and to have such a special guest with us. Her name is Jennifer Lopez, and she is a single mother of three sons and a daughter, born and currently living in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where she has earned recognition as a community leader. Her activism, however, began long before that because she has been fighting the system for her basic rights since childhood. Twice this year, Jessica has been a political prisoner by participating in peaceful local protests. Jessica, welcome to the broadcast tonight. I am so honored to have you with us.
Hey, Mr. Nightwolf, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I mean, I'm feeling blessed to be here on the show with you. I'm doing so though. You know, could be better, could be worse.
But we're going to work on the better and getting rid of the worst. Jessica is an African American Puerto Rican woman of the Taino people. Her most recent arrest came after a protest following a police homicide of Ricardo Nunes. The day after the protest, she was arrested and languished in jail as Lancaster District Attorney, who is white, Heather Adams, and Magisterial District Judge, who is also white, Bruce Roth, declined to set her bail as they reel from public outcry in response to them initially charging protesters for $1 million bail. After the ACLU and other local elected officials called those bail amounts unconstitutional and an effort to dissuade public protests, Jessica was finally assigned a $250,000 bail with other inflated charges. Jessica, tell us a little bit about your experience with this legal system in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
The law enforcement agency in Lancaster, Pennsylvania it's racist. It's militant and racist. Our chief of police recently was forced to resign after he called in order to expel $40,000 worth of tactical gear against peaceful protesters at that point. They basically, the way our system is designed up here, it's to keep the poor and the rich. Our drug task force agency is under investigation for missing $250,000 this year. They are directly owned by the district attorney's office. All of our police officers are required to wear body cameras in regards to the Lancaster City Police Department, except for the Drug Task Force Agency. The Drug Task Force Agency is not required to wear body cameras because they are owned by our district attorney's office. They are also under investigation for that missing $250,000. Our police department targets and harasses people. They call day-to-day harassment banter, and it's excusable. There is videos of police officers pushing homeless people on the sidewalks. There's videos of police officers tasing people after they confuse them with directions. There's endless lawsuits. There's missing money. There's a retired chief that was forced to resign literally 2 weeks after the arrest of me and the other protesters.
Okay, so law enforcement officers have made it clear to you, Jessica, that your active leadership role in the community, especially via public demonstrations and pending federal lawsuit in the Eastern District Court of Pennsylvania are the liabilities to your freedom. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, I was arrested for standing in a parking space. A police officer walked past several other people and then approached me to have me get on the sidewalk. And it's like, I can't even stand in a parking space at a protest with 40, 50 people and listen to and educate myself because I'm targeted. As soon as they see me, it's an escalated situation, and it says, it's why? Because I'm suing you or because I'm speaking out? Um,
So what is it that they charge you with? Why did they charge
that
you with that?
that day I was charged with obstruction of a highway and disorderly conduct to engage in fighting. Now, the officers admitted at the preliminary that I was being passive and silent and that I did not engage in fighting or, speak violently. And I couldn't have been obstructing traffic because there was people down the block directing traffic. They're saying I obstruction of a highway. They're considering a city block outside of our police station in our downtown district a highway.
In a parking space, a highway.
It initially started in a parking space, yes.
So where did that go from there? What was the next thing you
As
did?
the police officer kept pushing me to get on the sidewalk, telling me if I don't get on the sidewalk, he's gonna have me arrested, telling me, that I have to, not telling me why, just telling me that I have to. And in my mind, and like in my eyes, in other people's eyes, you're telling me to get on the sidewalk because you want other people to follow suit. Because you want to create intimidation. You walked up to a completely peaceful protest at the end of said protest and wanted me to get on the sidewalk for what? So as he pursued me moving onto the sidewalk, I started to move away from him, more towards the middle of the street. Um, I ended up sitting down in the middle of one lane, and in the next couple minutes, there was a troop of police officers coming out of the police station um, in full uniform and padded vests and with weapons, and they ended up carrying me into the police department because I wasn't willing to get up.
So do you think this was a setup?
Yes, I believe actually the picture you're showing right now was the day of that protest. Um, the day before that protest, I got an invite to a meeting by the commissioners at the commissioner's office, and it was a commissioner's workshop. At the workshop, that is where I got the information that our our police our drug task force agency does not wear body cameras, and it was a workshop on transparency in police body cameras. The day of that protest, where this picture's up, when you see this picture, we walk around the corner. We are in front of another state representative's office. We're in the street at this point too. We end up coming down, come around the corner to City Hall. We're in the street at that point too. We get down a few more blocks in front of the police department, directly in front of Representative Scott Martin's office, and that is when the issue transpired. And it was pure intimidation tactics. They for some reason, I'm the threat, but it's like, why am I the threat? Because I'm the person you tried to oppress that fought back and then was bold enough to speak out after the fact. Because that's all I've done. I don't make enough money to be a financial threat to our police department. I don't have the connections to be a physical threat to a police force of dozens of officers. It's just not viable. Kaiser's trying to not right now, Prince. Please tell Kaiser to stop. It's just not viable at all.
What I'm seeing
Sorry.
in all of this, what I'm seeing is a total violation of your First Amendment right. which is freedom of speech, and that's against the Constitution. That's unlawful. Why are they trying to shut you up? Why are they trying to keep everybody else quiet but put you right at the forefront of being the one that they're walking on? Why are they doing this?
Because I'm the one person that's actually born and raised in our city, that knows the system, that knows the city, and decided to speak up. There's a lot of people that are involved in our movement, and they're more township. I'm the one person from our city that decided to speak up and really speak out.
So
And
they
then,
targeted you. They targeted you.
yeah, and it's a direct targeting. Right now I can only come out my house a collective of 5 hours a week. I have geographical restrictions. I can't go within 100 feet of the police department, which is directly across from our state representative's office, which is directly across from our post office, which is directly across from the government building where my magisterial district judge is, which is around the corner from our courthouse. Our bus station is literally around the corner from our police department. I don't even know if I can technically, legally be there.
Who set these rules?
District Justice Bruce Roth.
Uh-huh.
He was also responsible for the $1 million bails and the basically the hiding of me and Alexandria Wise. They placed me and Alexandria Wise at a lower bail in order to lower our profiles on the case. How does it look when you have transgender activist Alexandria Wise arrested and set at $1 million bail, and woman who's suing the city and suing the police department arrested and placed on $1 million bail, especially after we've been prominent, like we've been faces in the community. We do things to give back. We are downtown all the time. We're talking to people. We're active. So it's gonna look as if, you have to come up with something. Why?
Well, how do you feel about them violating your constitutional right of freedom of speech?
It angers me that they go to the extremes of this level to silence someone like myself. Um, I'm a single mom, 4 kids. I was born and raised here and never passed the 6th grade. Like, I'm not going to be running for political office. I'm not the person that's coming for their jobs. I'm literally the person that's trying to just revamp my city so my kids can live here, but yet I'm the person that you're trying to silence, and I'm the person you're pushing in the background. And it's a
How old are
scary
your
thought for my
children?
city, because if they could do it to me, they could do it to anybody.
How old are your children?
I have a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And
Well, you only get 5.5 hours out of your house a week. How do you get your kids to school?
as of right now, I'm waiting for notification from my attorney to find out if the court order went through for me to take my kids to school, because I had to have a lawyer get a court order for me to take my kids to school, even though they're forcing our children to go back.
This is, in my opinion, no more than modern slavery. So, how is the complexion of your neighborhood changing? Is there gentrification going on, or what?
I live on a historic block, so to speak. It's an alleyway it's close to downtown. Gentrification is running rampant through our city, and with COVID being the way it is, they are literally pushing homeless people into the prison system and evicting poor people. We had a business out here called Nimble Thimble that was around for a lot of years since I was a little girl. They literally spiked her rent by like $2,000 or something and put her business out. She was an older black lady. They are literally like pushing the minority out, pushing the poor out. It's hard for minority businesses to thrive out here. Um, a lot of people in our city don't have driver's licenses, do not qualify for them, had them taken from them at some point, are serving jail sentences because of it, and can't get to jobs because jobs are in the township. The good jobs are in the townships. Sustainable jobs are in the township. And after you have records, it's hard to get sustainable jobs out here. So
Okay, well,
they,
stop for a second. You said that they don't qualify for driver's licenses. How do you not qualify for driver's license?
okay, if you're like me personally, I was in a car with some friends when I was a teenager, and the car broke down. Police officer comes up. They got cited for underage drinking. We're all together. I get cited, and I've never had a license. I'm 32 years old, and I can't get one.
Because of that,
Yeah, and then driving after the fact. I don't have any DUIs. I don't have like any hit and runs, anything like that on my record. It's pure driving without a license. I have 4 kids. How do you support your family if you can't drive, if you can't work?
to get to the job.
There's a bill people are trying to get passed right now. It's called House Bill 80, which is supposed to, help people get licenses and help reinstatements. For a long time, they were taking driver's licenses for things like marijuana infractions. And they still haven't
Mhm.
revoked that. And a lot of people are still suffering because of that in Pennsylvania.
Is marijuana legal in Pennsylvania?
No, no, it's not. For medicinal purposes, but not for recreational use.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's go a little further. When they arrested you and took you away from your children, where did they put you?
I was arrested the day after the protest, the day after the Ricardo Munoz murder. I was walking down the street in my neighborhood about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and a police officer was on call at somebody's house and came out of the alleyway and was like, "Miss Lopez." And I'm like, "Do I know you?" And they arrested me off the street and ended up, after a stop at the emergency room, after a stop at the precinct and then the emergency room, I ended up in Lancaster County Prison.
For what?
Lancaster County Prison is an old county jail that was built in the 1800s. It's literally designed like a castle, equipped with dungeons and bars and all of that.
What did they arrest? Why did they arrest you? What was the charge?
Um, it was like 5 or 6 conspiracy charges, um, riot with intent, conspiracy to riots, disorderly conduct, obstruction of highways, anything they could think of. A lot of a lot of the other protesters were charged with arson. Um, it was a whole bunch of stuff.
So after they charge you, what did they do? Did they take you to the precinct and fingerprint you, or what? After
No,
that? What happened after that?
no, they
No.
did not fingerprint me at the precinct. They didn't give me any phone calls. They took me to the precinct and put me in a holding cell. that I was in prior in 2008 when I initially met the officer who stopped me outside of that house after the day after the protest. I was in a domestic situation and um, I couldn't understand why I was being arrested. I spit on a police officer and it ended up being that cop. There was further engagement, like a further physical engagement after that initial incident that took place at the precinct, and I ended up with a bunch of police officers on top of me, and I ended up spitting on a second officer that day. Um, they put me back in the cell they put me in that day in 2008, and like it triggered a lot of things in my mind with my PTSD, and they stood outside the cell, you know, with their banter, and then they, you know, at one point they decided that they needed the strings out of my pants because I guess it's a suicide risk or something, and they took the string. They fought me for the strings out my pants. They I sat on the floor because I'm little, small girl, and I need the strings in my pants. I need belts. I need elastic. I need buttons. You can't take that or my pants will stay up. So I was hesitant to give them the string, and they ended up cutting the string out my pants. They pried me apart, a couple police officers, and cut the string out my pants, and then drugged me to my cell. And um, yeah, like
Was there in your mind any signs of sexual harassment in that procedure?
It's Kai again.
go. I'm on an important
We
call.
told
You were
them
being
to-
rude, Prince.
We told
Please.
them to stop.
I'm
They
so
won't
sorry,
stop.
Mr. Nightwolf. This is one of my great sons that likes to disturb my life every
I
2
didn't
minutes.
do it though.
Okay,
I didn't mean
Prince.
to, because they won't stop bothering us.
Can you please go and let me take care of this? Thank you. Thank you. I will take care of Kai when I'm done. Thank you. Shut the door. All the way.
The, the
Sorry about
life of
that.
a mom. The life of a
Um,
mom.
like, um, I think it was a lot of female degradation more than like I would say it was anything to make me feel little, to make me feel less than, for me to know my place. We have a normal set of
What do
holding
you
cells. Huh?
mhm. What
We
do
have a
you
normal
think
set
the
of
place is? Okay. What do you think the place is that they feel that you belong? You said so
um
that you can know your place.
well, in their eyes I'm less than. I am, you know, the high school dropout. Well, not dropout. I never passed the sixth grade. I'm the girl that didn't graduate. I'm not professional. I'm not the image of, you know, F&M Lancaster. And
Mhm.
yeah, like so my place is in the corner somewhere slaving at one of their tables or, you know, serving their to-go orders or keeping my head down and not listening. I mean, sitting in the corner and not speaking up, not listening. Put my head down and not speaking up and not speaking out. My place is not to be sitting on sitting on the police station watching 1,000 people do the cha-cha slide. they
Okay.
they
Okay. Well, let me ask.
hello. You're going in
How
and
long?
out.
How long was it? That's okay.
How
I
long
said
was
after
it?
they arrested you. Yeah,
Um, I was
they
in
should have
prison.
charged you
Well, when
they
they
should have
first
charged you the day that
I didn't get a bail set for 2 days. I believe it was the day after my arrest. They didn't fingerprint or process me for 3 days. For the first 2 days I was incarcerated, they housed me on a men's block. One of the protesters I've been protesting with for months, TJ Fry, he was on the block with me. I like I've said, I've been to this prison prior to this. I've never seen a woman on this block. With them not fingerprinting me at the police station or giving me any outside contact, and them taking me to the prison and not granting me outside contact and not fingerprinting me and not putting me into their system for a few days, it messed with me for a while. They kept me in my cell the first couple days. I couldn't come out because I was on a block with men. I got 3 showers in 8 days. They kept me in the whole time. I was in RHU status. There was a point in the beginning, the first 10-15 minutes I was in the prison, they physically restrained me. I had several male officers on top of me. And there was a point where my pants slipped halfway down because they cut the strings out my pants, and a sergeant had a taser. They have these yellow tasers, pointed at my butt, telling me if I don't flip completely on my stomach, he's going to tase me. If I flip completely on my stomach, my pants are gonna finish coming down. So, it was debated, but I ended up having to turn over. He was gonna tase me.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Jessica. Why didn't they have female correctional officers to handle you? Why
They
was it
were
that men had to handle you?
they were standing next to the men observing, because in Lancaster, everything's okay as long as there's a woman standing there watching it happen.
So, how long did you end up staying incarcerated?
Um, it was 8 days, and let me say, I've been in the system before, and I've done a little bit of time, and this 8 days was nothing like that. The isolation was real. I spent the entire time isolated. I didn't get to contact my family for the first 5 or 6 days. And remember, I was walking down the block. I just left my house. I told my kids I would be back at a certain time, and I didn't get to talk to them for 8 days.
Well, who
And
stepped in to take care of them while you were gone?
my mom, she stayed at my house. My sisters were around. I have some good friends. Um, but like I said, I was arrested. And other people were picked up from the protest. So there were other females that were picked up, and 4 days in, they had $1 million bails and got released. So I'm watching them leave, and I have no clue as to what's going on. I'm not able to watch the news. I'm not able to make outside contact. I don't know what's going on. I'm just watching, the people that I know are in a similar situation walk out the door. And it was real, everybody around here says it was calculated. There's no way it's coincidence. There's no way. I ended up with the lesser bail amount, and I ended up with the longest jail time. I ended up being the only person on home confinement at this point. I've been on home confinement for going on 2 months now. Everybody else was released within a week of coming home. I'm still the only person on home confinement. And there's literally nothing to physically link me to these charges. I didn't commit any of these acts. They're saying that I encouraged 100 to 300 people to commit riotous behaviors. I verbally encouraged.
Did you do that?
No, I've never told anybody to destroy or riot or loot. And the places that they broke a window on a store downtown. It's the only store downtown that actually gives back to our kids. I would have never told them to break that stuff that just makes no sense. I would have never told anybody to do. I don't condone, for my city, I don't condone looting and rioting. I understand the anger and the pain behind it. Certain cities, they got to do what they got to do. My Lancaster city is not that city in regards to to the businesses in our district. They're small businesses, they're local businesses. We don't have many major big business downtown. So it would be, you're stealing from your own people, you're robbing your own people, you're breaking and destroying your own people's dreams. Why would I tell people to do such?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I did some checking and I know that the city of Lancaster is actually a city of cameras. Everywhere you go, there's a camera.
Yes.
Do they have anything on tape
No.
to back up what they said?
There is no videos of me picking up and throwing anything. There is no videos of me setting any fires to any dumpsters. There is no videos of me breaking any windows. I did not smash any vases. I did not touch any police vehicles. I was not down there destroying public property. No.
Okay, so
And
who's helping?
literally the
Who's
area
helping
that
you?
it's at,
Uh-huh.
sorry, the area that it's at it's basically, it's called Gallery Row. It's a lot of local indie galleries, a lot of like I said, government offices, the police station. We have a federal floor. Our police station, cameras all over it. There's an art college down there. There's cameras on every corner, everywhere, every building, every window. Like there's cameras all through there. There's nothing down there that can say that.
Okay, my next question to you, who have you reached out to get you the kind of legal help that you need, and what has been the response? I know they probably gave you some court appointed attorney. Uh, and what has that court appointed attorney done to help you?
Um, my court appointed attorney, he's baffled by the whole thing. This lawsuit is giving a lot of backlash. I can't. They just denied a petition for me to get off of house arrest, stating that my leadership roles in the events are the reason for my current condition, and that they are opposed to releasing me off house arrest. And my lawyer asked me if at some point prior to this I sued the city. I said no. I did not sue the city, but I'm suing the city. What does that have to do with my release from house arrest? And he said, there's been some pushback, and that might be why. He said he's not saying officially that's why.
It doesn't
He
sound like
can't.
pushback to me. It,
Sounds like
it don't
retaliation,
sound like
right?
pushback. Exactly,
When
exactly. Because you had
I
the
was in
nerve to
there
stand
with
up, speak out.
I was in the meeting with the attorney with the president of our local NAACP chapter, and he overheard the conversation. And when he said it, he said, "So this is retaliation." The lawyer said, "Well, we can't call it that, and it's you'd have to be able to prove that." And basically, that's what it is. If I can't prove it, they can just walk all over me, or if I try to fight back, they can just bury me in legal cases until I'm suffocated and can't provide for my family or fight back. And I'm not just gonna lie down for that. I can't. My kids can't afford that.
Okay, so were you able to get an attorney, to
Well,
represent you in this case, since your court appointed attorney seems to be hand tied? Uh, have you
I,
reached out to anyone else?
I've spoken with a few other attorneys. They're a little more pricier. I have one who is willing to take the case. I'm working on getting the money for him. Um, but that's the $6,000 I don't have. I just came up with $5,000 for the case before this, and we just came up with $1,000 for another. It's a situation I needed representation for because of police harassment due to my lawsuit, and it's like between the lawsuit and the 3 open legal cases, it's like I don't have it.
Well, you know, this is being viewed tonight by a lot of good people. Um, Sounds like you need some financial help to
Yeah,
get your to get a lawyer, a
yeah,
qualified lawyer who can fight for you. Do you have a GoFundMe page?
I do. When I was incarcerated, my sister started the page for me. Her name is Estrella Lopez, but it's listed under Jessica Lopez, Lancaster, PA. There is a GoFundMe up. We raised about 3,400. We're still a few $100 short. Um, well, a few
Well,
thousand, yeah,
sounds like you're more than a few hundred. Yeah, a few $1,000s short.
yeah, a few $1,000 short. And it's like I'm trying, but it's just me. I got the kids. I got rent every month. I'm not working right now. I'm on house arrest. Like I can't leave for more than 5 hours. Like, and with the way my past is set up, it's not as easy to find employment. I can't drive. Like, what do you
Okay,
do?
well let me do something for me. You do have an email address, right?
Yes. It's J.
Can you give that
Lopez.
email? What is it again?
J. Lopez. SOME at gmail.com.
Okay. And are you open to people emailing you that want to help
Yeah.
you?
Yes, I'm open to, even if they have a question, even if there's something that, they want to speak about from the show tonight or anything that they've seen online. I'm transparent. I'm down for conversation. Um, yeah, anybody who wants to
Okay.
talk, I'm definitely open for that.
Well, let's talk about something else. You are a founding member of Unapologetic 717. What is that?
Unapologetic 717 is a community action group. We protest the problems while presenting simple solutions. We hosted a book drive for our local prison because our prisoners were denied access to the receivement of packages and books from their family members. So if your family member was incarcerated, you cannot send him education materials. You cannot send him reading materials. Not even directly from bookstores, not in any outlet. The prison solely relies on donation for the restock of their library. Um, we, believe in the empowerment of our children. We host events to educate parents. We're just trying to, dig into our community and change our community through our people. And in order to get your people to respond, you have to give a little bit. So when we host events like the book drive, we had this church in E-Town donate us 100 gallons of milk and skids of produce and boxes of meats, and we gave everything away. We gave away books that day. We rented games and the kids came out. We did face painting. COVID people were looking for ways to be active and ways to understand. That was when the CARES Act came out for funding for housing. We had CARES Act applications down there. Um, and we protest. We hit the streets if we come against injustice. That's why I got tagged in everything the day Ricardo Munoz died. I was in my house rearranging my furniture when it happened, and my phone just started blowing up out of nowhere. If Mickey's Mission of Hope up the street from my house, they feed the homeless people out of Ben's Park. I mean, out of Mustard Park now every night. And when the police were up there surrounding Mickey and trying to shut her down, we found out about that right away. Like the community, comes to us for certain things. Sometimes we're just here to help people. We're members of our community trying to change our community, basically.
Excuse me. Um, I'm listening to this conversation that we're having, and it seems that Lancaster, Pennsylvania, has not moved from the 1950s in how they treat their citizens, especially citizens of color and citizens that are of meager means that have nothing. And because of this gentrification, it appears that that people like you are just in the way of what they want to do. Um,
Beyond in the way.
what are the okay? So what are the politicians doing?
They're sitting back, patting their pockets while, UPMC rezones our hospitals, our privatized hospitals, and um, you know, waiting and helping their wives and husbands or our contractors that are rezoning for condos, and they're harassing the mayor to clean up the homeless people downtown because the rich contractors don't want that outside their buildings. They're not fighting for us at all. One of our local representatives is pushing for a bill that that leaves protesters arrested at a protest with immense like restoration fees and stuff like that, and with the way they're targeting people at these protests, so you could literally arrest somebody for something they did not do and then tack $100,000 of whatever,
Bail out.
yeah, $100,000 in fines and costs. Not even the bail, the fines and costs that come after the fact.
And
And
how do
even
they
though,
expect
huh?
the poor to survive in Lancaster? Or is
They
this something
don't.
they just want to
They
get rid
don't.
of you because you're poor?
They don't. They
They
don't.
just want to get rid of
Yeah, and they just want you to serve their sandwiches and make sure that you pay your taxes and you file your census so they can keep getting funding for you. Um, but we got $95 million. Lancaster City got $95 million in COVID funding, and what did they do for our people? Nothing. They're evicting us and then raising our taxes next year so we can cover the convention center and the Marriott. So we can pay the rent for our convention center and our Marriott. But people can't even pay their rent for their own homes, and you're putting them out.
you. What did the ACLU say about all of this?
The ACLU made a statement in regards to the unconstitutional $1 million bail amounts that was attached to several of my friends and fellow protesters. Um, but they've been pretty quiet. I haven't made contact with anybody from the ACLU as of yet. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, they decide to get involved. Hopefully, people start to pay attention to Lancaster because you're right. It's very backwards up here. Very, very backwards. Lancaster County, we have several townships that have completely white police departments. Um, we have a police department of 130, 140 some police officers, only 4 of which are female.
And what percentage of them are people of color?
Probably around like 8%.
So what I'm seeing is that they've got you all living on a white plantation.
We literally have a plantation in our county park. It's called Rockford Plantation.
Have you tried to contact your U.S. congressmen or your U.S. senators and bring this to their attention?
I've had a conversation with Senator Bob Casey in the beginning of the summer, but that was in regards to he came down here to speak with us and to meet with us. And my talking points at that point were on trying to get awareness on the fact that there's no national policy that protects women from male on female searches, or or protects people from gender neutral searches, period. Um, and he admitted that he didn't know that there was no national policy, but that was before all of this broke out the way it did. It was in the beginning when the city was acting as if they wanted good change. At one point, our mayor was marching with us and telling us she wanted to defund the police, and now, you know, she was denying the use of rubber bullets, even though my boyfriend ended up with a bruise this size in his chest when the officer missed my head trying to shoot me with a rubber bullet. My friend Nicole Vasquez ended up with like they broke the skin. It looked like a bite mark, but it was a wound from a rubber bullet piercing her skin. That's how close the officer was when he shot her with it.
Hmm.
That it literally
Well,
penetrated her skin.
let me ask you a question. Next week, the U.S. Congress is back in session, and I've got to go to Congress and talk to several congressional members that I know on some issues that I'm fighting for other people. Would you have a problem with me contacting your senator or your representative and bring
No,
this
I would not
issue
have
to
a
them?
problem at all.
What else can we do to try to help you?
Right now, other than what you're already doing and helping me, raise awareness to the situation, write the district attorney Heather Adams. Like I don't know. I don't know what you do when your city government is trying to bury you.
Well, I have a few friends that I've made over the last 73 years that don't play these games with people. And I'm going to present this to them. What's today? Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Friday. And I'm going to see what they have to say. And we'll move forward from there. And thank you so much, Jessica, for being a part of this broadcast tonight and today. I'm hoping that you will come back again.
Oh no, definitely, definitely. And like I said, I do a show every Wednesday called Straight Talk Roundtable at 7 o'clock, and we speak on our local government. It gives a breakdown on exactly what's transpiring in Lancaster. This doesn't end here. We're gonna keep speaking up. We're gonna keep speaking out. Like, if I end up having to write letters from a prison cell, I'm not gonna be quiet, regardless of the fact.
Are you in fear of your life and your children's lives
Yeah,
behind all of this?
yeah, yeah. Like, it scares me. I walk down the block and you arrest me. I could be walking down an alleyway at this point. People die for less. I'm suing for 75,000 plus punitive damages in federal court. I'm protesting against police officers that are trained. Okay, Prince, give me a second. I'm about done here. Give me 5 minutes. Um, like, these officers are trained killers. Like, and no, not right now. 5 minutes. Shut the door. And like, yeah, I'm terrified. Like, I don't like to, take my kids places because you never know. People are taking screenshots of us off my page, pictures, and posting them on redneck sites. A few protesters' addresses were released. I live in the city. I'm a single mom. I live by myself. Like, it's just me and my kids. I'm not legally allowed to own a gun. I'm not legally allowed to protect myself. I'm not legally allowed to drive away. I'm not legally allowed to leave my house. So what do I do when somebody knocks on my door, or when one of these officers decides, that it's time to bother me, or Bellman decides I can't leave my house and I have a medical emergency? Or what do I do? I'm beyond terrified. I'm afraid that if I don't find a job soon, I'll be like one of these homeless people they're throwing in jail for sleeping with my kids on a damn park bench somewhere.
Okay. I can feel your anger. I can feel your frustration. I can feel your hurt.
Oh, and I'm
and I've been there
sorry the
before.
D word
I
came
know.
out.
That's, no, it's okay. I mean, I know what you're going through, and we will talk again. I'll call you later tonight or tomorrow because I need to get some information from you and see what we can do to help you down here in Washington D.C. And I'm honored to have you on. Give your kids a hug for me and tell them
Thank you
they're
so
going to be all
much.
right.
Yes,
And
thank you
give
so
yourself
much.
a hug for me because
I appreciate you having me and just
okay.
giving me the opportunity to tell my story. And you know what? Just you're such an amazing yo, you're legendary. So for you to be taking this time with me, it's definitely appreciated.
I'm just an old man that don't like anybody being treated wrong or unjustly, and I don't give a damn what color you are. You know, if it's wrong, it's wrong. So
Right.
thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, sir.
Yesterday was the 254th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. I have brothers and I that served in the Marines. My baby brother graduated from the Naval Academy in 1976, who became the youngest Native American lieutenant colonel in the history of the Marine Corps. I would like to say to my devil dog leatherneck brothers, hoorah! Semper Fi, do or die. I would like to say to all of the other service members that have served this country, happy Veterans Day, which is today. And all of you that are serving in war zones, in the name of the United States of America, keep your heads up, keep your eyes open, and remain vigilant. All service members gave some, but some gave all. They gave their lives for this country. However, the United States government has not always been good to members of the military. We got a president that will be out of here inside of a little over 2 months who called service members that died in combat losers and suckers. He talked about John McCain like he was a dog. And you are supposed to be the commander in chief. Donald Trump, you don't qualify to be the commander in chief of anything. Because when it came your time, your opportunity to serve, because of the money that your family had, they were able to get a doctor to sign papers for a waiver for you, blaming it on bone spurs. Yeah, bone spurs, all right. I'm really upset with how this country has been torn down and left in shambles by this president who walked away and has gone to sleep on COVID 19. What is that about? Donald Trump, your time is up. And come January the 20th, I believe it is, you're fired, never to return again. Because it's people like you that promote these racist attitudes towards people. It's people like you that don't care about the welfare of people that are not in the level of what you think you are. So Donald Trump, you're fired. Good riddance to you. And I will be reading about the prison sentences that they're going to put on you for all the wrong that you've done. I know for a fact that you can pardon yourself from federal offenses. However, when it comes to state offenses, you're going to have to face the music. I would like to leave you tonight with a thought from my grandfather. He would always say to us, your brother don't have to look like you to be your brother. He would always tell us that it's not about the pigmentation of your skin or the color of your eyes or the texture of your hair. It's not about the clothes you wear. It's not about your tradition or your culture. What it's really all about is how you treat my heart. And that's what it's all about. I'll leave you in these Cherokee words, which I am part Cherokee, Shoshone, and Taino. Danada, Goai, Wado. And I would like to thank my executive producer, Leslie Fry, for giving me this opportunity to tell it like it is, live. I'll be talking to you again next Wednesday night. Don't forget to tune in. See ya.